Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what we decided was episode 38 of Flyover State of Film.
We know how to count.
Yeah, we know how to count. We're good. I'm your host, Brian Hurst. Let's get something out of the way. I know my beautiful visage is slightly damaged today. I did take a little tumble, but don't worry, I safely landed on my face. With that out of the way, let me introduce the boys. Joe, TJ, Yusef, how you doing, my man? My guys.
Hello.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm rocking this brand new shirt.
Everybody's
like your
dressed
shirt.
so nice today.
I like
man.
your shirt.
What is that? What do you got there, boys?
Oh,
I got a shirt on.
It's a new Good Point Joe shirts.
Those
You
are
guys can
looking
get it in
good.
public.
Hey, do us a little. TJ, do us a little twirl of the back.
Do you
Yeah.
twirl to the back? You guys can see the back.
Oh, that is quality. And you know what?
That
What I
is the
like
view
about
I'm
these
used to.
shirts, they're that lightweight material. They're not the athletic fit where an extra large is a medium, but they're like that nice kind of. They hang. They got a nice hang to them.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Definitely good.
As a man with some bust, I can enjoy a T-shirt like this. You know.
Get your Good Point Joe shirts.
Yeah,
Good point,
that's
Joe.
your-
Public link in description.
Get Joe's name on your left tit.
All proceeds go to our rentals for the movies we pick.
Touche.
Yeah.
One
That's
shirt
it,
pays
right?
for one rental.
This is why we don't have a Patreon. We're gonna try and get you to buy swag instead. That's how we want to do it. That's how we
You
want to
could
do our
get it.
shit.
You could get it in a mug. You could get it on a canvas.
And also, you know, we could probably figure something out and get to do the DVD Bunker logo too. I mean, just let me know. Just let me know. Maybe hit me up in the DMs. We can work that out for you.
Bunker
as well.
logo coming.
That might be limited edition. I don't know.
I would
So
buy
anyway,
this.
you know, I was like, man, the news. I'm so sick of the fucking news. They're making a new Baby Yoda meme. We talked about that shit 2 weeks ago. It's boring. It's busted. I don't care. I'm not interested. The Black Widow trailer dropped. Guess what? It looks like a Marvel movie. It's probably gonna be
Watch.
fine. So I thought Thanksgiving was
question.
just the other day.
Sir,
No, I'm talking. What do you
question.
want? All right. What is it?
Punch him in the face.
Is Black Widow streaming or theatrical? I literally.
Yeah, they're
No, this is a theatrical release.
Okay,
This is
okay.
gonna be an actual,
Also-
what we call a real movie in my house.
A real movie. Okay, so also a real movie. It just dropped tonight. What is just Brian? I don't care about these other guys. What is your opinion on this Planet of the Apes news?
I haven't even seen this news. What is it? They're gonna continue the franchise?
Oh no, I want to tell him.
Yeah,
tell him.
please.
The prestigious director of one of the most popular franchises of all time, The Maze Runner, is gonna take over Matt Reeves.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah.
That was a look of disgust. And that's why we skipped the news.
You know what?
So
though?
anyway.
Here's the deal. It was always like they were always gonna come back to it sometime.
They were too good to be true.
And there's an amazing, brilliant trilogy that just can stand on its own,
Perfect.
no matter what. They always take, you know what I mean? It's like the Tim Burton one that exists out there, but I don't think about that. I just don't care. So it's like either it will be worthy of being a continuation of this trilogy that I loved, or I'll just let it go. I'm just
Okay,
not hanging on to that
great.
shit.
like
So
Frozen.
go back. to your question. I just needed you to give us your hot nuggets.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm a big fan, and I actually did just tweet something to the effect of, if you're making your best of 2010s list coming up here on the end of the decade, and you don't mention the Planet of the Apes trilogy, you're fucked up. You're fucking up. So,
guys, which for the next episode will be a topic, but we'll have a twist on it. More to come when I think about that twist.
Ooh, damn, this guy's trying to plug his own episode, but we're just getting started. This is my episode, and I decided we're not going to talk about news, even if it's about Planet of the Apes. Thanksgiving was the other day. I wanted these guys to come in here and tell us what they've been thankful for this last year, and just, bestow their thanks upon me and upon you. So who wants to start? Anybody got something? Anybody want to start? Anybody want to volunteer?
I'll volunteer first.
TJ.
You know what, guys? I'm thankful for the Snyder Cut coming back up, because it gives me something to talk about on Twitter, because I only talk about 3 things. So I'm thankful that came up. It didn't come out yet, so it's still going to hurt those people. I'm
looking forward. I have Schadenfreude about that getting released and being terrible, and me enjoying the reaction to it.
Yeah. Thankful for the future whenever that actually happens. I'm thankful for another year of the podcast with you guys. We're episode 38. I mean, we're going into 2020 hot, basically season 3, if we don't keep track of seasons, even though we say that. I mean, other than that, you know what I'm thankful for? Ryan Johnson finally getting the respect he deserves. You know what I mean? He had a lot of slack for The Last Jedi, but supposedly I didn't see it. You guys did. That movie just did Knives Out. Yeah, he deserves it. Get in the spotlight, bud. That's it for right now.
I think he's one of those, along with Edgar Wright and Jordan Peele, who's now almost a celebrity director, where his name can kind of sell a movie because he has his own style. Mm-hmm. He's that that new generation. He's getting there. And as much as we say, he stumbled with The Last Jedi, there's that's a small but vocal group.
Yeah,
a lot of people really love The Last Jedi.
He didn't stumble with The Last Jedi.
It's a fantastic movie. And I wasn't a Ryan Johnson fan before. I didn't love Brick or Looper, so I think he's growing on me at least, and I think he's doing great work. So I agree with TJ. We're thankful for you, Ryan Johnson.
Who directed the I'm really blanking here. Who directed Kingsman and all that?
Matt Vaughn.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn, the guy from Kick-Ass.
Ryan Johnson's becoming a better Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is of that, as far as I'm concerned, because I think Let Me In's a really great
Let Me In's phenomenal.
A good movie as well. And I think Matt Reeves I think all those guys, as far as I'm concerned, great directors.
Who's next?
Anyway, what are you thankful for, Joe? What do you got?
Cool. So, I am thankful for. It's funny, I actually share, and I think all you guys, I am thankful for the podcast and what we do here. It's become a really great outlet for us to bullshit and talk movies and just goof off every 2 weeks.
It's a nice release,
Have a really
nice ejaculation of emotion.
Yeah, just explode onto the screen.
Well, it's definitely masturbation. There's no doubt about that. That every podcast is.
Tons to come.
I'm thankful for the mute button on Twitter.
Ooh, that's a great one.
And also, I'm sure you're thankful for the mute button against me. I don't have to hear you, you don't have to hear me, but we pretend to be friends. That's what's great.
No, for you, it's just turn off retweets. I don't worry. I would never mute.
Man, that hurts, buddy. That hurts.
Well, if there was ever a time of year where there wasn't a sport you were following, I'd turn you back on. But there's always something.
Yeah, I know. I miss you.
Yusuf, tell them how thankful you are that I'm an alpha.
I'm very grateful that TJ sucks at fantasy football.
What the fuck?
I'm very grateful that Joe's team is gonna suck next week also, and I'm just gonna steal their money. So that's gonna be awesome because I need a new tattoo and I love getting free tattoos. But yeah, I'm thankful for this podcast as well. I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for living now in Mexico. I feel at home, welcomed, and it's not cold.
I had to wear my sweatshirt over my Good Point Joe shirt. It was so fucking cold in the bunker.
But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that finally somebody smacked Brian. How about you, Brian?
I'm thankful for Bad Boys 2.
No. You can't be thankful. I saw the trailer for Bad Boys 3, and like me and my wife were like audibly just like through the whole thing. It was rough.
My fiance were like, can't wait.
Same. I can't wait.
It's like they legit took them and they were like, now team them up with a Fast and the Furious team. Like that's exactly what it is. They like send them and they got like the screens in the background and stuff and they're like the tech guy. It's so dumb. Oh my god.
The biggest red flag is that it's a movie with the name being released in January. That's it. That is a spring summer movie.
I don't know what you're talking about, because this year in January, Keanu Reeves came out with Replicants, and
was that actually this year?
Yes.
I thought you just made that up.
No.
Those, like,
I thought that was at least 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This year has been very long. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off to talk about Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. What else is you thankful for?
I'm not thankful for either of them, but I'll tell you something I am thankful for. And I know, we'll hit the cliches about friends and the podcast and family. And I'm glad that Cranberry Ginger Shandy was back when I went to go buy beer today. And I'm glad for my Good Point Joe shirt. I'm thankful. But here's what I'm seriously thankful for, and what no lie inspired this fucking question, because it's not often you find something that that is like so funny and like hits you in your core that you're going to think about it for your whole life, and it's always going to be with you. Excuse me.
Wow,
and I got
choked up.
I found that the other day when my wife saw a tweet that led her to a video from 2015 of Lenny Kravitz. He goes to like dance on stage and he crouches down and the front of his leather pants rips open and his dick kerplunks out. And it is the funniest goddamn thing. And then he instantly does a Buffalo Bill and like tucks it and like shuffles back away from but it's like it's spring loaded. His dick just is like pew, and like I tell you what, I have thought about it so many times since I saw it, and I fucking laugh out. I will be like chuckling to myself, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. It's just the goddamn funniest thing that it's embarrassing, which is funny. It's unexpected, which is funny. Dicks are hilarious. It's got all the elements. Also, Lenny Kravitz is a dude who kind of carries himself as like this super cool, like borderline, like pretentious, a little bit art, guy. And he's very self-serious, and to see his dick just plop out like that was the funniest fucking thing. So go find that video. We're not going to post it here. We don't want to get our video flagged, but go find it. Find the uncensored version. It's not real graphic because it just looks like a weird pink worm because it's from the crowd. So it's not like it's enough that you can see what's happening, but it's not enough to make it uncomfortable. And it's so fucking funny.
Not enough to masturbate, enough to laugh.
Well, I'm not done. Don't take it away from me. Whatever you want to do.
Don't challenge me.
But I'm telling you, that shit was so fucking funny. I decided I was going to find a way to devote the whole segment to talking about it. So I did it. Congratulations to me.
I imagine you practicing that rant at Thanksgiving when you're like, what are you thankful for around the table? Well,
it's actually my pre-dinner prayer. So I just repeated it word for word.
You were like, come fly away. Oh, my dick.
Yeah, it's just he teabagged the stage and it was great. We all are thankful for it. So, are you guys ready to get into some actual topics?
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, I think we decided you were going to go first because we already talked about Rian Johnson, Knives Out. He's done a new murder mystery, so that inspired this question, I believe.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen Knives Out, please go see Knives Out. But actually, I think it was Dan Nye on Twitter said, I wish Knives Out had multiple endings, like in different theaters, like Clue did.
Don't give him props. Don't give him props.
But he did trigger the question. I actually don't wish that about Knives Out. See the movie. I like that as one ending. But what movie would you like that if they released different endings for all in different theaters? What movie would you like multiple endings for, but in different theaters? Is the question.
This is hard. Do you want to start?
I mean, I had one. I guess I wasn't necessarily thinking about the in theaters thing, but I was thinking about a movie that could benefit from having a bunch of different endings. And I was thinking about Halloween, how because now there's so many continuities, you could you could put a specific like bumper on Halloween. You could have 4 specific bumpers that like lead into the other movies. You know. One that was like definitive death that leads into 3 where it's not Michael Myers. One where you like hint at the thing with the sister that leads into old school 2. You know, you could just do some different things with that. So that's what first came to my mind.
No,
as far as what I would want to see in theaters, maybe I'll take a second and think about that.
Would you like move around though? If you were doing that, would you put like 2 as 4, like because since you're going to go back and forth, or would you have in its own continuation still?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
You would have to.
I liked what you said. Like he dies in 1, and then, or I guess no, he would die in 2. Then you can bring it. Yeah, I mean,
I think I think that's awesome actually answer because it's just different than just like here's a mystery. Let's have different answers. But is it true? I always don't know if it's urban legend or not that Paranormal Activity had different endings dropped when they did the first movie, their theatrical run.
I saw it at least like 3 times, just because it was like one of those fun movies to see.
But I think it was an urban legend. Like, you know, some people just saw an alternate ending. You know, it's one of those ones they can't trace back.
Well, sometimes like a movie will have like an audience screening and a test ending and stuff. Yeah. So people think they saw different endings, or they did, but it wasn't like the movie that got released theatrically. So I don't know.
What is that?
There's one where she goes to the camera, which was released the theatrical in terms of the demon, and the original one is she just gets fucking lit up by cops that bust into the room.
No, I've seen that.
Yes. Are any of them good? Because the movie sucks ass.
No, you remember
if you took all the Paranormal Activity movies and edited them into one 90-minute, you could probably make a good movie out of that.
Yeah. Do you remember like the thing back in the day? I still don't remember if it's true because I don't remember.
Topher Grace. Oh my God. That's what I'm saying. Topher Grace on that shit.
Do the Jurassic Park thing where supposedly the T-Rex breaks into the place before the raptors. Like people say that happened, but I don't remember it ever.
That's where I'm with that too. Anyway, Yusuf, what do you have a movie or?
Fun fact: when Brian said topics, I heard top dicks. I don't know. I had dicks in my head. I didn't want to interrupt. Yeah, it's especially when we get to the actual movie. But I don't know. This was hard because you know me. I try to be funny, but I could not get into like the mindset of Clue. Like, but what if it happened like this? So I don't know. I just thought about Home Alone and having an alternate ending and where they actually kill Macaulay Culkin. That would have been awesome because Joe Pesci
bite his fingers off.
Yeah, and it's just like a 30-minute torture scene and where
just so dark.
Yes, it takes like a weird left.
Hey, you motherfucker, you!
And he gets the curse.
And it's unfair. We're saying Clue, but honestly, in my life, Wayne's World was the first movie I saw that did this.
Oh, yeah.
I love Clue, but to me, this will always be the Wayne's World ending, where they do 3 or 4 different ones.
Have just like, and then this ending, and then this ending.
Yeah, let's do the super happy ending.
He kind of, Wayne kind of like introduces all the different endings.
Yeah, it's still
Louise one, fun. So good.
It's been a while since I watched that movie, but that movie is legit good.
Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Both of them, actually. Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2, I think, are both solid. Wayne's World 2 is like the rare comedy sequel that worked.
Yeah. Watching them back to back, like it just flows so well too.
2's age better.
I feel like they shot them like back to back. There's a good chance.
They did. And then Dana Carvey and Mike Myers just stopped talking.
Well, honestly, you can't blame either of one of them from distancing themselves from the other. They both have had embarrassing fucking careers since that.
Master disguise. So
okay, the first 2 Austin Powers movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, one can argue that Myers has a better career.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would say that. I'll agree with that.
But Dana is a better stand-up, so he has more of a better steady stream of money. But Myers is a millionaire, so what the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah. I'm sure he's doing fine.
I think they've also made amends.
Yeah, I think they've reconciled. I wouldn't be surprised if I'll watch a Wayne's World 3.
About them,
probably make
If they make a Wayne's World,
or they re-release their old show on YouTube and it goes viral or something like that, come on, you can do it.
If they made a Wayne's World 3, I'd want to see it though, like update it and like parody today, and not like they're wearing their hair metal stuff like a Dumb and Dumber 2 where they just fucking wore the same clothing and same haircut from 20 years ago, and they're just like sad old men.
See that?
Can in the poster say, "From the minds that brought you the love guru"?
Well, yeah, you got to lead with your strength. I mean, come on, you got to get your best foot forward for sure.
TJ, what do you got one?
Oh yeah, I was kind of thinking. I'm glad that you said in multiple theaters at different times, just because I couldn't think of one. I was like stuck with Youssef. One, I've also never seen Clue. I know, I get it.
Fuck you.
I'm sure it's good.
You suck.
It's probably not.
Worst. Jesus.
I'm gonna go home. Love to my wife.
But like one of the movies that at the end I'm always like intrigued and wish I knew more, even though it tells you more, but I just wanted to see it, is the end of Sandlot. If I could get like in a different theater, each kid's like a good like 15-minute, not just told, but show me what happened to them. Like I want to see.
I like that a lot. I just watched the Sandlot again, like especially Bertram.
Yeah,
what does got
see him
too into the 60s mean? 60s. I want to know.
Yeah, I want to see Wendy Peppercorn and Squid sex scene. Yeah, like there's things like that.
He's the guy in that hotel when Jenny from Forrest Gump tries to jump off the balcony. That was him.
He's just like, nah, man. I went the more traditional route of what you would think. I was actually thinking Identity would be a fun one to have multiple endings of, not just like it's in the dude's head, like you revealed each different person. Maybe that. And then the first, first one I jotted down, not Identity, was a really weird one just because I was like, oh, really dumb movie, like crazy movie would be fun. But I thought about it, it'd be terrible. Does anyone remember the Paul Walker movie, Running Scared?
I fucking love that movie.
That movie's great.
That's on my list of movies for possible features.
Like that movie is batshit crazy.
I wouldn't hate watching that movie again, TJ. But I wouldn't scream that movie's great.
So that one I thought would be like, just because of how like goofy the whole movie is in a sense of like coincidence. If that movie just had different endings of like the kid died, he died. It was
the
really
one.
Yeah, it was really weird for me.
I'm still lost on that.
It's just like a movie of like coincidence, and I love that movie, and I hope one of you do pick it.
Brian, did you see that movie?
I've never seen that.
No. Oh my
god! The Billy Crystal.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a pedophile.
Did you see the Billy Crystal Running Scared? The buddy cop Running Scared.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
I think there's another one too. I think there's like 4 movies called Running Scared.
Anyway, that's the topic of the.
I think that was pretty good. I like that everybody picked weird different things that we didn't all do murder mysteries. I think that's good. I think that shows why this is a good mix of people on this podcast, guys. Give yourself a round of applause. Buy our shirts, everybody. Good point, Joe. Good point, Joe. Shirts.
Straight to DVD Running Scared.
Oh, was that a straight to DVD movie?
No,
that's weird. That would surely be a weird coincidence if it was, because that leads perfectly into our next topic, brought to us by one TJ Dex.
Brought to us by our shirts.
Yeah, guys, I've been sitting on this topic for a while. I've been thinking about it for at least a week and a half. It's like something's like stuck in my heart for a while.
You've just been stewing on this one.
No, but actually, like, I'm just gonna do a little personal story real fast. Back in the day, if anyone's been a part of like a divorced family, you go to one parent's thing on the weekend, you're at one parent during the week. But on the weekends, my dad was the king of going to like CVS and little stop shops and just going on the DVD racks and pulling off like a $5 DVD that no one's ever heard of and making that the movie of the goddamn night. So I figure with all the streaming services coming out, guys, and all the bullshit, because there's going to be so much more coming out, why don't we pick our favorite straight to DVD, non-theatrical release movies that you can think of? There's plenty of gems out there. I'll start off right off the bat. There's this movie called Trippin'. No one's probably seen it or heard of it.
Wait. No.
Okay. The only
is that Shrooms?
The only actor you could probably think of that's in it that stars in is Donald Faison, and it's basically just like a kid in South Central who wants to break out of high school, like get out of the hood and go to like a good college. But it's a comedy, so like it's got like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different actors that you would know today, comedians today, like people that I can't name off the top of my head, but Donald Faison's in that.
Trippin', you said?
tripping with literally just the N at the end and the little apostrophe. Yeah. And then another one is a Coolio movie called Bad Trip, and it stars Ethan Suplee and I want to say Seth Green, but it's not Seth Green. And it's just two guys. Oh no, it's the little guy from Entourage.
Oh, E?
Yeah, E.
The director of Gotti?
Yeah, they're just trying to carry like a pound of weed across state lines.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's it. Yeah.
Wait, I know his name. He looks like Connolly. John Eric Connolly.
What do you got, Brian? You have a whole show dedicated to
this. Leave Brian in the end because he has a fucking entire show.
I didn't even, just for that, I'm going to go back and mention that there's an episode of a fucking episode of the DVD Bunker about identity, and I didn't plug it because I didn't want to interrupt Joe's flow. But we did that. It was like episode 6. It's a good one. Go check it out.
All right, Joe. Now you go.
Me and the DVD Bunker are fucking in sync. I'm always mentioning a movie, and Brian's like, "Well, guys, what? We have it on the DVD Bunker." Anyway,
goes to show he never listened to my show. You hear that, guys? He never needed to know. He never listened.
I picked for this one. I picked The Lion King 1.5. It's a really fun movie. I've only watched it once. It's a really fun movie that they released in 2004 or 5. It's straight to DVD. It's about a lot of those Disney movies from the 90s were like all the Aladdin sequels, but
Scar Son?
No, Lion King 1.5 is the Lion King first one told from the perspective of Timon and Pumbaa, and it's just like a straight comedy, and it's a really enjoyable movie. I honestly might follow up on
Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is on Disney Plus. There's also, if you want to go more the TJ route, there's a movie with Will that I bought in the mid 2000s. I believe it is called. It's with Will Ferrell. It's called Men Seeking Women, and he was plastered all over the cover on the DVD, like he's on a camera. And me and my mom bought it, and it is so fucking boring. And he honestly might be in like 3 scenes, and we watched the whole thing because we were like, he's funny.
That's the best part about
like 12.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, we're in Walmart, and that's the one.
What you're talking about right there is my favorite kind of straight to DVD movie, which is a movie that like sat on the shelf for years that they didn't think anybody would ever want to watch, and then one of the people who happens to be in it in a tiny part gets famous, and then they put that person on the DVD cover and they throw that shit in the $5 bin at Walmart, and they're just like, come on, baby, give me that money.
I have another one that's gonna roll right up with that, and that's called Cutting Class.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep.
It's one of Brad Pitt's first movies.
Yep.
He's like the bully in the movie, but if you see that DVD, he's straight on the cover looking terrified, like he's the one about to be murdered.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's also bad.
Yeah, it's not the same thing, but like nowadays, like this, if you get Leprechaun or you get Critters 3,
Jennifer.
It's just plastered. Jennifer Aniston the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie. You're just like, yeah, okay, we get it, guys. Like that wasn't the thing you went for at the beginning.
See Jennifer Aniston's original nose in Leprechaun.
Ferris Bueller.
She had an accident and she couldn't breathe, and she.
Oh, I got a deviated septum.
I liked how Friends made fun of it later.
Yeah. I too watched all the Thanksgiving episodes of Friends, Joe.
Listen.
Oh yeah, that was on theater. That's so fucked up.
What you got, Yusuf?
Oh, I went the basic bitch route, and I picked the DC animated slate.
Is it a slate?
Yeah, because I was inspired by
the ones that are based on the New 52. Those ones kind of suck.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Court of Owls is pretty good. That's kind of New 52.
Did they? Was that in Son of Batman? Which one did this?
Yeah.
It's fine. But I picked 4 movies, obviously, because I don't give a fuck. I'm so...
Damn. This guy's got
state of fuck.
All right, cut him out.
So I picked 3 Batmans, obviously, because The Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2.
Oh fuck yes.
Watch that. Do yourself a favor if you're really a fan, and watch that as the complete like one-piece movie. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 hours. If you're the kind of person who can sit down a 3-hour Batman animated movie, do it. It's really good.
It's fucking great. It's very faithful. I think it's very faithful to the comic, but at the same time, it adds a certain element that really translates Miller's work into now. Like
they recreate the art style. It's really that's really great. Like I love when they do that. They did that for Year One and stuff too.
Year One is solid too.
They do a really good job at those movies.
And actually, I was crapping on the super or the New 52 ones, but they did do Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen recently. They did both of those, and they were pretty good.
Assault on Arkham's really good too.
Assault on Arkham is good. It's like a better Suicide Squad movie than Suicide Squad.
I haven't watched that one, but the other one
Under the Red Hood.
That's the other one that I picked. That's fucking great, and it's a great story, and it adds a lot of like one of the things that I liked about that story is like it puts Batman's obsession in perspective as it's cost the lives. Well, technically not the life because he's alive, but like the mental health of his like Bat family. Yeah. Like he's like Todd became this super villain because of Batman's trainings and obsessions and his inability to see like maybe I'm fucking crazy and I shouldn't be taking in kids and making them lethal weapons.
You know what sucks? I don't know if you guys read this one yet, but just because of the Joker that came out, I would have loved to have seen an animated adaptation of Brian Azzarello's Joker book, which is one of the most insane like looks into the psyche because it's all from the shot or like all from the point of view of God, I can't even think of his name. Huh?
The pearls.
The pearl.
Yeah, the pearls. No,
it's shot always from the ground up.
Yeah, it's
like drawings are from the ground up.
Yeah, he like picks Joker up from jail, like when he finally gets out somehow.
Is this the one that has like the face torn off?
No, that's new. All New 52 stuff. This is like its own like one shot book type of thing.
The worst, most overhyped one was The Killing Joke.
I was gonna say that weirdly disappointing was The Killing Joke. It's because of all that additional shit they tried to put in it.
And I think it's a good comic. Like it's a solid.
It's an excellent comic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And the ending is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, but they just ruined.
The last one before we keep talking about Batman, Superman's Doomsday. That's probably one of my top.
Superman Doomsday, and I was gonna say Flashpoint Paradox is a good one too.
Is fucking fantastic. Like Doomsday was probably one of, if not the first, Superman movie I watched as a kid. And I remember being like legit affected, like, oh my God, he died. Like it's so fucked up. Like as a kid, I was like, oh my God.
Well, it's got the art. It's got a very similar art style to the animated series that we were all familiar with, but it gets real violent. Like when he guts Superman with some punches, he's spitting up blood and shit. That was pretty gruesome.
What's up,
Sir, I have a question.
I'd like to call on Joe.
Oh, thanks.
Center representative.
If I want to watch these movies, are they, not like I'd ever get it, but are they on DC's streaming app?
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone know that?
Sure, you can watch that. And
maybe you can watch Titans. That seems like a show that exists.
Cool. I'm going to not do that.
Or you can just buy them off Amazon.
You know, I haven't
seen all of them.
Shoutouts. Justice League War. That's a good one.
Oh, I think I have that one.
I don't see that's like the beginning of the New 52 stuff. I don't like some of the characterizations in that, but the action in Justice League War is incredible. Like the animation in it and stuff and some of the action sequences is really
Rosario good. Dawson is Wonder Woman too. Yeah. So that's
tight. Is
Wonder Woman is a really good
Justice
one
League is Justice League War the one that Batman has like all the files on how to destroy?
No, you're thinking of Doom, and that is really good. Justice League Doom is excellent. Good. Also, shout out to any Justice League animated movie that has the Martian Manhunter in it. Fucking tight.
Hell yes.
So, Brian, it was a joke that I was cutting you off, but we cut you off, and now it's what's up? What's your DVDs?
Oh my goodness, I got a lot. I mean, I had a lot of things. There's a straight to DVD one. I remember seeing this. This was like on the video shelf when I was working. I used to work at a Kroger that had a video store section, and I had a crush on the girl behind the counter, so I'd hang around in the video section, and she was like super cool, like movie nerd girl, so she would like point me towards cool shit, and we would make fun of bad movies. Well, are you asking a question? Or just trying to high five me?
So, were you telling this story to your wife, and that's why she smacked you in the face?
And then she punched me in the eye.
Okay,
Absolutely.
now it all came full circle now. Okay, go ahead.
But the point is, there was always this it was this knockoff of Dazed and Confused called the Stoned Age.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 3 like hippie kids on the hood of a car. And I remember the movie had like a weird CGI eyeball that like flew around and people when they got too high. So I'm not saying it's good, but it's like memorable. I remember that one as far as straight to DVD releases. Also, there's, speaking of the thing we talked about earlier, where like they would take an older movie that didn't get any play, and then somebody got famous. There was a Ben Affleck movie called Glory Days.
I've seen that.
Like a college movie.
I love.
Also had Alyssa Milano in it, I believe.
Yep.
So that one came to mind. Another one was a movie called Employee of the Month. Now I'm not talking about the Dane Cook vehicle.
I know this movie
With Matt Dillon and Steve Zahn and Christina Applegate. It was like a real
crime
Pulp
thriller,
Fiction, twisty, like a heist guy stole his money from work, or did he? Who is double crossing who? Kind of fun little. It's not again good, not great, but fun. And then I was like, man, there's some genres that just full on like lend themselves. Horror is a huge straight to DVD genre, and a lot of movies that were famous got straight to DVD sequels. First of all, none of us talked about how the last 2 Child's Play movies were straight to DVD.
I thought somebody was going to say that.
Curse and Cult of Chucky are both amazing.
I have an argument with you on that though. You said specifically DVD, and I was considering them straight to.
Oh, see, yeah. Well,
did they stream? I know they got. Blu-ray. I mean, I know they got simultaneous Blu-ray and DVD releases too.
About that, splitting hair there. I guess there's a difference between like a Netflix release and a Hulu or Amazon.
They're not.
Yeah, because there's stuff that comes out on streaming that you just can't get on DVD. Whereas at least Child's Play movies were released.
Right, but could we rewind it back to like shittier movies? Like I remember watching The Nun, straight to DVD movie.
I only remember the one that just came out that was also shitty and should have been straight to DVD.
No, this one was, and the cover it's bad. There's other ones. There's some movie with.
No, I want to talk about good movies. There's a Scottish movie called Dog Soldiers that's a straight to DVD.
Oh yeah,
that's fucking amazing.
Seen that.
And then I thought
Brian, you and me every now and again connect like so tightly, like you and me like. And then you fucking make me watch.
And then I'm like, let's watch Cabin Boy together.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, man. Why can't we? All right, go ahead.
Another genre that I think really lends itself to a straight-to-DVD release is documentaries. Before the streaming era, now everything streams. Every documentary is a streaming doc now. Yeah. But there's a great documentary about the guy who made Boondock Saints called Overnight.
Ooh.
And it's all about
I've seen that. He's a fucking asshole.
Exactly. He was in a band at the time, and they were making like a road documentary. And then eventually the documentary just turned into about him because he got famous from the Boondock Saints script, got like a lot of buzz, and so then he got into this big thing. I remember listening to the commentary of Boondock Saints and hearing the guy talk about how like, oh, the movie's release got fucked up because of Columbine and because of people shooting up and black. Turns out that's all bullshit. It's because he like just was too big for his britches and turned down an offer from Miramax and shit because he thought he was worth more, and that's why his movie didn't get a fucking release. And it's a very interesting documentary to say the least.
I gotta see that.
It's wild. It's a special feature on one of the Boondock Saints.
Did they put it on one of the releases? I would almost buy it if it had both.
Isn't Boondock Saints straight to DVD also?
I guess it did never really get a theatrical release, so yeah, technically I think maybe it is.
Here's a question.
A movie. That's one of those movies I'm like afraid to revisit.
No,
I do remember really liking it, but I was also a 20-year-old white male douchebag. So
there's a straight to DVD Raging Bull sequel that came out about a year or two ago called The Bronx Bull.
What the fuck?
Because the everyone sued the production, trying to label it as Raging Bull 2.
Oh, yeah, because, that's not a masterpiece. It needs a sequel. Brian, are you done? Are you done with your picks? Because I have one that I'm shocked that nobody said.
Yeah, go for it. I think I'm done.
Trick or Treat.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that was...
That's what I need to revisit. I think we talked about this on the Halloween episode when somebody...
I have a question.
I kind of was underwhelmed by it, but it gets such a good reaction from everybody else. And I like the guy's other work, so...
But it's a legit good... I'm not saying it like it's a horror masterpiece, but it's a good straight-to-DVD
I would agree that even if it didn't connect with me, I would acknowledge that it's a pretty good, especially for a straight-to-DVD movie.
I have a question. I don't remember. You guys, some of you might be able to answer this. Are any of the Broken Lizards straight to DVD, or are they all theatrical?
Slam & Salmon might be straight to DVD.
I think Slam and
Dread. I don't know.
Puddle Cruiser was probably a straight to DVD.
I think I remember Club Dread and.
I was in the theaters.
Club Dread definitely got a theatrical release.
I'm wondering, was Super Troopers straight to DVD?
No, I saw it in theater.
That was in there. Okay.
No, yeah, I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one, actually. I haven't seen the second one.
Super Troopers 2 was fun. It was good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was never going to be.
No.
But to answer TJ's question, I would get that, though, because that era was very had a lot of these movies that just got really popular on DVD.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
You thought, they weren't theatrically released. We could name, every shitty American Pie spinoff was straight to DVD.
Yeah, a lot of National Lampoon movies became straight to DVD, a lot of shit.
So, there's a lot, but I do remember finding a lot of the straight to DVDs on, early days of on-demand cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grandma's Boy. Was that in theaters?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look it up. I think so. Yeah, I think it got a theatrical release.
Sandler, so.
Small one, though. Small one.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try to segue. The movie for this week is Splice, and that inspired our last question. Yusef, take it away.
Splice. We're going to talk about that, but Splice plot is about manipulating the genes and eventually creating the perfect human. We could cure all diseases and all that bullshit. So off the cuff, I thought, because I'm that good, off the cuff, I thought about this question is, if you could splice two actors together and create the ultimate Hollywood star, who would you splice together? I'm just going to set the tone. I picked two ladies. And one of the things, I did. One of the things that Hollywood needs, I'm not saying that I need it, I'm saying Hollywood, based on their machismo and their, easily throwing away the ladies once they
Rosie O'Donnell and Rosie Perez. I got it.
Is good genes. They gotta age well. So I'm picking Jennifer Lopez genes. So I want a long career out of her. She has to look hot and sexy because that's how Hollywood works for more than 40 years. That's the track that Jennifer.
It's about to become a eugenics podcast, everybody. So look out! Here it comes.
And I'm gonna splice her with one of the most talented actors in all of Hollywood, and where she could be an old man or an old Asian man. And still be an amazing actor, and that is Tilda
Scarlett Johansson.
Tilda Swinton.
Ooh.
That'd be some good splicing. So, what would you do with that person?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Joe.
I mean, I wouldn't have...
He's married.
I'm talking about Hollywood. She's just going to be...
Just starring in movies?
So what's her dream role? What's your dream role for this actress?
What's the role? Not
Oh, I didn't think
Selena.
This... Yeah, Selena would have been actually good. What? No, I don't know, man. Come back to me.
All right.
Well, now here's the question.
This is curveball. I just want an incredible actress, and I also want an incredibly good-looking Latina. Is that too much to ask? Because I
think they would definitely date.
Oh yeah, that would be hot.
Yeah, that's a good couple. That's a power couple right
That's
there.
that's a power couple for sure.
I think I'll just go ahead and go because I think my picks are going to come as no surprise to anyone. I picked two icons. I was like, ultimate Hollywood star. What do? You pick two people who have had staying power, who have
Vern
had
Troyer.
massive hits, who have had charisma, who have defined the eras in which they act, who have like significantly different eras of their career where they've been successful in multiple generations. I'm talking about Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
We're gonna put them together and create what
baby.
I would consider the apex predator of Hollywood. This thing that would be untouchable. There's no role they could not act. There's no business suit they could not wear. This is a powerhouse.
Could you imagine, like, in like 5 years, some actress comes out of fucking nowhere and she ends up being the love child of like Ford and Weaver? Just something they got together back in the day.
The world.
Did the thing. Yeah, dude, that would be insane. But would she be in the new Star Wars movies?
You reboot the Alien franchise with her.
Ooh,
Will she have hot takes about Woody Allen?
Does Sigourney Weaver have hot takes about Woody Allen? I don't know.
No, it was Roman Polanski, I think. It was a thing.
Google it. I'm kind of curious.
I can't keep up with everybody who supports and doesn't support Woody Allen. I'm sorry. It's in all fairness, I don't personally support Woody Allen. I don't consider supporting Woody Allen one of those crimes where I will cancel someone for, because it's not like an actual crime. But I don't like it. I definitely don't like it.
No, Woody Allen stinks.
Now, here's a question. This combined person, same question asked you.
Yeah, ask him that fucking curveball question.
What movie role would you put them in?
Yeah. What would you do with them is the phrasing. What would you do with them?
It's obviously
is she gonna be, or he, or it, or she,
they. Use the proper pronoun.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I'm like looking for a pronoun.
What are they going to do?
I picked two ladies, so it's easy to. Well, sorry, maybe wants to be a he, but it's a lady. So what is?
Eugene Levy's on the podcast. Everybody, check it out.
What is it gonna come out? Is it gonna be a lady, or is it just gonna be like a David Bowie type thing, like a David?
Well, we said a splice, and I don't want to get into the way our movie turns out, but they leave it pretty open. You know what I mean? Like,
did they though?
The point is, I think that you want to stay away from casting, like you almost would want to veer away from casting hard sci-fi with this person, because they're going to be, you don't want to be so obviously compared to their parents, to their genetic donors. So what's the genre that neither Harrison Ford nor Sigourney Weaver has yet dipped their toes into?
Wrong.
It's superhero movies. You cast them as a fucking superhero.
So okay. What I was thinking is your person would be best in like a John Wick like type serial killer fucking assassin role, where it's just like whoever's in that position is just kicking ass.
I can see that. I'd be into that. Sure.
Superhero.
So I would like to apologize to Sigourney Weaver. Apparently it was Susan Sarandon.
Oh, see, I knew Sigourney Weaver was good. I knew he'd be.
I'm sorry.
Was it pro or con?
It was Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver is good.
Sigourney Weaver doesn't have hot takes about anybody. She just shows up in movies in the last 10 minutes. If you want to make a Paul or a Cabin in the Woods, you can pay Sigourney Weaver to show up at the end of it. She'll be there.
I love
That's such a good movie. Actually, that's a good topic. Joe, write it down. Movie trailers that paint the movie as bad and then they turn out to be good, because Cabin in the Woods trailer looked like shit, and that movie's very good.
That's also a movie that they waited to release till Chris Hemsworth got famous. It sat on the shelf until after Thor came out. It was made like 2 years before.
The director also got famous.
Yeah, that's fair. Drew Goddard.
Joe, who are you splicing or teasing?
So I have to give credit.
Oh, also, I wanted them to splice the old-fashioned way. Did I mention that?
Bang it.
But that's just breeding. That's not.
That's what I
Something
just
as a
assumed.
child.
That's just a child, Brian. That's not.
So this is really just to solve my own personal life troubles because my fiancée Laura cannot separate Billy Crystal and Rob Schneider. She gets them confused.
Oh my God! Wow!
All
Wow!
the time. It's a thing. It's been a thing for years. So I'm just gonna splice them together.
One's been in some good movies. That's an easy way.
One's legitimately like a charismatic, funny man.
And one is the fucking worst.
And one's been like
Snyder.
okay. Oh, Rob Schneider's been okay, but is terrible. So I just want to splice them together. So like
I need to like talk to her. Like, why?
So me and her don't have this argument every time one pops up in a movie. And while we're at it, you know what?
Let's just come up anything alike. They're just short and they have black
short
hair.
guys with like a widow's peak, you know, and a little bit their hair is curly.
Like
I love the idea of Laura sitting down to watch like Throw Mama from the Train, and she's like, I didn't realize that Rob Schneider was in this.
He's watching City Slickers. He's like, oh, look at him. He's in a horse. I didn't realize Rob Schneider.
Even in like something like Princess Bride, where he's got a ton of makeup, she picks it out. She's like, wow, Rob Schneider? Is that Rob Schneider under that?
You guys think I'm joking?
Great Oscar host, and the other one is like Mexican, Filipino, Native American, Hawaiian
Asian
actor.
Jewish. So we're just gonna splice two together, and it's gonna solve a lot of trouble in my life.
It's gonna be so tiny, though.
While we're at it, this is also on Laura Brain. We're gonna splice together Jason Sudeikis and Ed Helms.
Okay, I get that.
I see that one.
I
was thinking Jason Sudeikis and Taron Killam actually would be like who I would splice together.
But no one remembers Taron Killam.
Fair. That's fair.
They don't let Taron Killam in movies.
We could probably get Taron Killam to come on this podcast.
They're like, hey, Taron Killam, we have a pilot on NBC. On in. He's like, yeah, sure, I got nothing to do on Wednesday. So anyway, yeah, that's what I would do with it. I would just I would let Billy Schneider hyphen Crystal.
I would actually be willing to see a third Deuce Bigalow movie if they did that. Like if that, Chris, go ahead and
I will not stand for all this Rob Schneider blasphemy. What are you talking about him, man? Leave the guy alone.
I have nothing against Rob Schneider.
Oh, he sucks ass.
He like was funny in a couple things, but that was a long time ago, and he sucks now.
He was elevated by SNL, and then.
Like, was he funny in Demolition Man? Sure, but it's a small part.
As a kid, I thought the hot chick was hysterical.
He has a great role in Grown Ups. His role in Big Daddy is strong.
His racist stereotype from Big Daddy. You're a fan of that, are you?
Yeah. He's Filipino. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
He gets to play some. That character's not Filipino.
You don't know that. You don't know.
I didn't know Filipino gave you like leeway to just do any culture.
Right, like you can. It's like you can do blackface because you're Filipino now.
No, I didn't say that. I never said that.
Time out. His most racist role is the Asian minister in. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh, dude, we could go all day on the things that are wrong with fucking Chuck and Larry. The whole premise of that movie is fucked.
Like that's the worst part of that movie.
Yeah, that's like
my mother
loves top 10.
My mother loves that movie, and
how about we get into the worst part of Splice though?
Well, how about we splice this conversation?
Yeah,
did TJ go? Did we get him?
Oh, no. She didn't go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would like to hear TJ's because it's probably going to be dumb, and I want to laugh.
Can anyone guess at least one of them? Maybe.
Yeah.
Is Tom Atkins going to be one of them? Please tell me Tom Atkins is going to be one of them.
Is he one of my?
Who's the fucking nerd?
Good point, Joe.
Good point, Joe.
But Joe is correct because I know he's saying Breakfast Club underneath. But yes, I'm combining my heart right now. I'm going pure heart. I'm going Brian with this one. I'm combining Anthony Michael Hall.
Yep, knew it.
And Robin Williams. I'm taking two of my favorite actors of all time, taking the strength of Robin Williams.
You're gonna ruin Robin Williams like that?
And the hair of like that's the only thing he has.
Robin Williams would enhance a gnome named Norm, though. So,
first of all, he's not taking
Will
over.
Anthony Michael Hall do his racist black person impression in this movie? He likes to break it out. He likes to use a weird science. He did it at the Breakfast Club. Will he? I miss it. You know, I miss
First
it.
of all, I'm
hoping that for the Halloween, he's coming back in the Halloween movies, so I'm hoping to bring it back.
We're not swapping person and roles. We're combining, guys. We're splicing them.
Holy shit! No. Why did I not combine Joanna Man
and Nick Cage
and
Orlando Jones?
And what's his face?
Finally make Orlando Jones into Joanna Man,
and now. Sorry, TJ. It just came into my head. Go back on with you.
I would love Robin Williams and Anthony Mackie. Just keep Robin Williams and just make his arm hair red so it's not so visible.
No, it's a little bit more.
No, but then a Good Will Hunting is not as impactful if he doesn't have all that.
They're not swapping roles. Am I missing something here?
Well, you're the asshole that threw me. So what perfect role would be for them? So we're throwing curveballs here.
We're gonna remake the Johnson's Family Vacation movies.
Well, wait. There's only one of them, and it's great.
Robin Williams tiny in there, back in the back seat.
Johnson Family Vacation. With Cedric the Entertainer?
Yeah, we're gonna remake those, but he's gonna play the dad. So you're gonna have this very great vacation.
Put a black man down.
Go ahead, TJ. Sorry, we're just shit.
You're gonna create vacation role. Anthony Michael Hall was a star in the Vacation movie original.
Why are you combining them? What is Anthony Hall bringing anything into this?
Why Johnson Family Vacation?
I mean, we could argue that Anthony Michael Hall has a strong long career. The guy's been around since he's been, 12 years old? And he's still doing it. He's in the new Halloween. He's playing Tommy, whatever his fucking name is. Doyle, Dolan.
I mean, so has Flo from Progressive.
And I miss Robin Williams, okay?
That's fair.
That's
a fair reason.
Yeah,
I didn't even think to bring back.
I didn't think of that.
Real quick, just off the cuff, everybody pick one dead celebrity that you would splice in. I picked John Candy.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Oh, that's a great.
Phil Hartman.
Phil
Hartman. Yeah, that's good.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh,
God
yeah.
Damn it! Every time I name on the tip of my
CJ, I'll give you one. Bill Paxton.
Okay, perfect. I'll take Bill Paxton. I was also going to say the guy from the Addams Family. Bring it back, Raul Julia.
Ooh,
bring
these are all solid picks.
All solid. I need Bison.
He's Puerto Rican, by the way.
That's great. I did that for you.
Thank you. That hit my heart.
Guys, hey,
so
we did some splicing there.
No,
I've been wondering this whole time, who are your Funko Pops?
Oh, this is Michael Jordan from Space Jam.
I picked that one. I knew it.
Right,
This is Mini-Me from Austin Powers.
Okay, I got it.
These are my heroes over here. This is Kevin Feige. And this is Richard Nixon.
I thought so.
How can you not tell? Funko Pops are so distinct.
I thought that was Jose Canseco.
I thought that was Timmy Turner.
I've wasted so much money and you can't recognize what they are.
All right, Brian.
It's part of my personality.
Guys, just because the main creature in our movie looks kind of like a Funko Pop with their wide set eyes, let's talk about the movie.
More like a penis.
2009's a decade old and strong, the movie Splice. Yeah. Now, if our fans out there aren't familiar, like I said, this movie came out in 2009. It's a sci-fi thriller starring Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley. They play two what can only be described as rock star scientists. Is that right? Like they're hipster rock star scientists who create these weird mutated genetic blobs that have this like healing enzyme that they are using in like medical trials and to cure things and blah 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 blah. Because they're rock stars and they don't think they have to follow the rules, they decide they're going to do their first like human hybrid experiment and kind of cross this little blob creature with some human DNA, and they make a creature and they kind of raise it, and they kind of fuck up raising it, and then kind of things spin out. I don't want to spoil it because we're going to talk about the movie. So, real quick,
spoilers from now on.
Real quick before we get started, guys, had any of you seen this before?
I have a little story about this.
No, okay.
Go ahead.
I was familiar with the movie.
Story time.
Story time.
There was a point in time where I thought I was going to direct a horror movie, and I was getting all into this like
you
stuff.
Got a decade.
What was that?
You got a decade.
You got at least a decade.
Yeah, I got a decade.
Take time.
And I bought a Fangoria because I just wanted to get into it. And the first issue I bought, this movie was like the main story, and then so was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh.
I was obsessed with.
There was a trailer for the Nightmare remake on the DVD of this movie.
There you go. Because it was like a French director.
I thought you were gonna say DVD bunker. I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
It was like a French director. The actress who actually plays the person was like a model or a ballerina who's never been in film ever. So like it was.
You can tell that they picked her because she's got extreme features. Like when you look at her picture on IMDb, she's got the really like high up cheekbones. Certain faces are just so good for makeup effects. Like Ron Perlman just got like the perfect face to put makeup effects on.
And this is one of those movies where I went into it super hyped. The trailer was really good if you go and watch it. Like, it leaves a lot of things open to interpretation. Then you see the movie. And I, just like today, I haven't felt more uncomfortable. It took me months to get over that fucking movie. And now Brian brought it back into my attention. So
have you... Then if this movie makes you uncomfortable, I highly recommend you watching The Skin 11. That movie's gonna leave you fucked up for like a decade. If this movie's make you uncomfortable,
probably won't do that.
And,
also, isn't Splice? You guys, doesn't this feel like a little bit like a remake of Species too?
Yes,
like there's definitely a touch of remake.
Yeah.
When you said Splice, that's the one that I immediately thought of. I was like, oh, the sexy
except without the amazing
feeling.
H.R. Giger design.
The same CGI.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched this movie. I think I watched it. I rented it. And I completely forgot about this movie. And if I hadn't taken notes prior to this episode, I probably would have forgotten it too before we started talking. So that's kind of that type of movie for me, at least.
It just doesn't have a lot of staying power for you.
No, it doesn't stay in your head. Because
Joe?
There's a lot of the scenes that just are the same.
What about you, Joe? Were you like culturally familiar, but you hadn't seen it, or you had seen it, or?
I knew the movie. I knew basically about the full movie. I just realized watching it, I had never seen it, but like I might have tricked myself into thinking I had seen it, one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Splice. And then I start watching it, like, oh yeah, I just remember.
So we all at least kind of went in from that same point of either we like weren't sure if we'd seen it or had not seen it for quite some time. So we all got to get like a fresh kind of. And since I brought this to the table, I'll talk a little bit first, and then we can kind of get into it a little bit. First of all, this movie's just so. Why is this movie so horny? Like, why is this? It's so uncomfortable because so they make the creature, right? First of all, there's the whole like medical ethics thing of it, and at the beginning, like she's very protective, but Adrian Brody's real dickish. But then, like at some point, they flip flop.
Obviously, because he got tits.
Because she's like projecting her own abusive childhood onto the creature now, and like there's a lot going on.
Is she like a what if tale of Carrie? Like, what if Carrie just became a scientist? Because she talks about, like, I couldn't wear makeup. My mother was very religious. And she's also a redhead. And she's kind of fugly.
I never thought of it.
Okay.
So
so let's say she has the Carrie type upbringing, right? And then like she's in a relationship. Her and Adrian Brody are both rock star scientists. They're in a relationship. He's kind of the beta. She definitely seems to be more in control. Like,
can we talk about their outfits?
They fuck.
Oh yeah, of course.
Hey, I'm wearing his outfit right now.
No, you're not. You don't have a plaid suit on.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a time where he was just wearing a vest. He had like a vest on in the lab, like a vest. Like vest over a t-shirt and like a necklace with an ankh on it or some shit. It was pretty fucking lame.
One of the t-shirts said like bringing nothing to the table. It's like, okay, cool.
What I liked about their timeline essentially is like, because some time really passed and her hair would change and like she would look different, and Adrian Brody was clearly like, I'm not cutting my locks.
Because I like how they hired an actor who kind of looked a little like Adrian Brody to be his brother.
I thought that
and
was
they just were like,
star.
just put his greasy hair in his face. That's good enough. That's how you can make him look like Adrian
this movie.
Brody.
You knew they were brothers just because they had the same shitty haircut. That's the family gene.
And that stupid script writing where every time they're in a scene together, he has to mention that they're brothers.
Yeah, he's always like, oh, just like your kids.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like, God damn it, we get it. Too much time in the, like, it with the actual, like, all those stupid signs. I get what they were trying to do, but, like, just do the thing, move it out. There's a lot of space in this movie where it's like, like Yusuf was saying, a lot of the same things over and over again.
A lot of the same like ethics discussion about like, well, you already fucking done it, you're doing it.
Yeah,
like it's too late for that shit.
I wish the movie was, and I'm gonna jump around here. I wish it was more of a horror. Like I wish we had.
It doesn't really turn into that to the last. That's what got me this time watching it. I was like, in my mind, it was like a horror thriller, and then. In this one, I actually found myself kind of being disappointed when it turned into a horror movie at the end. I wanted to see it be more of a cerebral sci-fi and like deal with the shit that they had brought. They have like they bring up stuff about her abuse, the cycle of abuse, and like what she ends up doing to Dren. Oh, by the way, terrible name, so stupid. The way they come up with it is stupid. And then later in the movie, they have to like wander around and call for her all the time. They're like Dren. It's just terrible name. But aside from that, there's great stuff about the cycle of abuse with her. There's great stuff about like his weird attraction. He's like Woody Allening her because he kind of raised her, but now he's like sexually attracted to her. There's stuff to like,
once
stuff to like get into that. But then they just abandon all that and go flat out horror in the last like it only lasts like 15 minutes. When the dude from the lab drives up with the brother, I was like, good, some victims.
Yeah, some
once what's weird about the Adrian Brody end of it is like once he realizes like, oh my God, you put your DNA in her, he's all of a sudden like would be like, I'm gonna fuck your sister.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I was defending this to my wife because it's a creepy ass thing that he's doing, and he does.
Creepy.
In my mind, remembering the movie, he was more like a father to her. Watching it this time, he's kind of like very against it from the very beginning. It's not till she gets sexy that he gets interested. So it's even kind of creepier. Also, in fairness, there's a lot of different animals in her, and she could be using some pheromones. She could be working him a little bit too.
Well, he said, I don't know what happened.
But,
the best.
I have a thing about the sex thing, but go ahead.
I have nothing about the sex thing right now. I'm staying away from that for the time being.
No, I want to talk about the sex thing.
I'll say one of the strong scenes in this, which I fucking loved and I always remembered, was when she's like a toddler, I guess, and she's not breathing.
She's a penis.
She's like sick. And he like has the moment where he's like, oh, put her in a cold bath, it should be fine. And you see him like his brother already talked to him, was like, dude, you got to end this shit. And he's like, this is it. This is the moment. Grabs the tail.
Yeah, it's great.
Comes up a lot of times, her and her fucking thing, and just drowns the fucking kid. And they do the whole thing where like they have the foreshadowing where it's like, oh, there are tumors in her lungs. And his brain's like, after she drowns, and they have that scene where you just see the dead Dren underneath the water. You're like, oh, that's pretty good visual. And then it starts breathing out, and then he's like, oh, she's amphibious lungs. And then they have that scene where she's like, you knew, right? And he's like, yeah, but they both know that he didn't fucking give a shit.
Yeah, but there is some good stuff in this movie.
But it doesn't go anywhere.
Like, I like the whole turn where she then like ends up strapping her down and performing that surgery. That's a really like brutal, visceral scene. Like
that was the scene for me when I was
that was a weird boner.
Oh, their characters switched places where he's all of a sudden wants to be like, like why are you trying to kill her? And she's like, she's out of control. She tried to kill me, and killed the cat.
That's a parenting thing. Like the minute your kid shows any disrespect, like flying off the handle like that. I know I struggle with that because I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You know what I do for you?
That's what I do with my dogs too.
So
wait. So can we go back real quick to the sex scene? So there's one thing. Okay, so.
Let me before you do that. Hey, Adrian Brody's not that good looking. Why is all these fucking women just fucking going crazy for him and drawing pictures of his face and shit? All right?
Okay, so let's jump on that. So
that's like a manipulation thing. That's the only man she's ever seen. Like,
she saw his brother though. He saw his brother.
Yeah,
and he looks just like him. This is just a
with a weaker chin.
The fucking thing looks like Mewtwo.
So the thing has a lot going against it, but the thing has a great fucking nose. If Adrian Brody impregnated that thing, that offspring was fucked because it would have had the weird legs, the weird arms, and then that fucking nose on the penis head. So
first of all,
I'm glad that didn't go that route. But
that has a schnoz.
Well, one thing is like your wife walking in on you with another woman.
Oh my god.
Another entire thing is like a wife walking in on you with another man, because that's like betrayal plus like, oh fuck, you're either bisexual or gay. So it's like two questions in there. But how the fuck does a wife walk in?
I have to.
Go ahead.
No.
That's the question. The end of the question.
On your alien child species.
It's not just like your child that you kind of raise together, but it's also a creature that has never existed before, and it's like, you
are
he's
fucking
riding
raw
him with
dogging
like wings spread out.
There's two things that I think. There's one thing I think the director wanted you to assume, because she grows so fast. It was in a short amount of time, so there's not that time to grow the fatherly instinct. This is just me thinking what the director's thinking.
Well, he definitely doesn't show any fatherly instinct when she's little. He doesn't like her.
And then
until she becomes more fuckable, he's not interested.
Yeah, well, they have that one scene where she's about to take off with her wings, and he's like, "We love you," and she turns around, like embraces him, blah blah blah. He fucks her. He fucks the spliced creature they created, which is also his wife's DNA. Wife catches him. Wife peels off, respectably goes back to the apartment and stays there and waits for him. This motherfucker talked his way out of it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
He fought.
He kind of like
her.
He kind of whataboutismed her. He was like, "But you trapped her at that table and cut her tail off. So who's worse? Who's worse?"
Like, how genetically altered big are his balls that he's like, "No, but you tried to be a mother."
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a parent, this movie had some interesting shit in it about like parenting and what it means to like the effect you have on your kids and the different there was something there in the bones of this movie that like could have been explored that wasn't, you know what I mean? Like they did.
We need it smarter.
It had a little something in it, but it wasn't smart enough to like bring it to the surface. And then at the end, it's just like, now we're a horror movie, you know? Like,
and it's funny.
I do want to talk a little bit about the real quick before we get into too much more. I do want to talk a little bit about the born sexy yesterday trope. Are you guys familiar with this? This is a thing in movies. It's in this movie. Think of movies like The Fifth Element and Splash, where what you have is a character that is of age and sexually desirable, but has the mind of a child that is like easily manipulated and like wide-eyed and innocent. But because it's in the body of an adult woman, it is acceptable to have sex with it. And so that's like a trope in movies that's kind of like a little bit gross, that kind of speaks to like the infantilization of women and stuff. So it's just something I wanted to mention that obviously is in this movie and is a thing that exists. So when you're watching movies, be on the lookout for it.
The ability to control them, but also like obviously
the reason that it's illegal to fuck kids, because you can like trick them with candy.
Yeah. So jumping off being serious, I hated her generic voice sounds.
Oh, the little clicking and like.
Oh, it's so fucking bad.
I think they clearly had the actress do that. I think that weird French model actress did that shit on set.
It felt like I've heard it in like 20 different movies.
Talk about
this movie is just taking from every sci-fi
What about when it actually?
That's a good point, Joe. That's a
From
great
the point of just all looking like dicks.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I was getting strong at the very beginning. I was getting strong Deep Blue Sea vibes about the kind of like, we're going to do an experiment we shouldn't do, and it's going to end badly kind of thing.
Is this like the top? Like, are there any other actors, and especially how they interpreted their characters? Is this like the least scientific scientists we've ever seen on screen?
Well, and then that's one thing I did love in this movie, where like because of the whole shit with Dren, they're like neglecting their work, and the brother's kind of trying to tell him, but you can tell that he's a real, like, he's obviously always looked up to her, Adrian Brody, and Adrian Brody probably got him the job there, so he doesn't have the balls to like be like, hey man, there's shit going on that you should know about and you should be dealing with. He's just kind of like making notes and be like, well, I hope Adrian Brody sees these, like, and then it turns out
on him at the end.
they have a big presentation where they're two little blobs. They're supposed to like come and love each other and show off to like the investors, and they fucking go crazy and kill each other, and the tank flips over and sprays blood all over.
That was great.
So that was maybe the best scene in the whole movie.
It probably was the best scene.
Dude, Gallagher could not have planned a better splash to an audience. That damn fucking things killing each other.
I wish they would have showed us that the things were still alive and like fighting on the floor after the splash.
Yeah.
Like I wanted them of like people like trying to get away while they were all writhing on the ground and still trying to kill each other and shit.
What I thought was hysterical about it too, just speaking of them being bad scientists, the whole time they're like, oh, we just got to find the what was it, the tissue, right? Or the fatties or whatever the fuck it was, her big science
enzyme that they're using to like make a protein. They keep talking about a protein.
And they keep the protein, and they keep going the protein, and they're all like, they're like more advanced than Fred and whatever the other thing.
Fred and Ginger were the names the blobs.
Yeah.
Which basically looked like a big fleshy slug.
And I just found it so funny because I just kept thinking like, yeah, clearly you figured out, a whole fucking grown human creature that has every organism living in it in your barn. Like you found the proteins.
I like how he fucked her till she came a new tail.
God damn it. And that's crazy because they had that whole thing. I don't know why this was like a small thing, but like they have to talk about he wants kids, she doesn't because of obvious reasons. And then they have that really fucking unnecessary scene where she's fucking him and Dren's watching
he sees Dren watching, but he doesn't say anything.
Nothing. He finishes.
Ass creep.
He fucking finishes.
He's a Woody Allen.
And she does the whole thing where she ends up mounting him in the same exact. There's fucking movies.
It's not a poorly made movie. Like
it's I think they just botched the ending. We keep talking about it. Let's get into the ending.
No, dude. I think the ending took me.
I mean, it's interesting. I think it's just tonally weird because it like switches gears at the very
at the end.
Go ahead, Brian. Set it up because.
Okay. So they're kind of we talked about. Sarah Polley catches Adrian Brody having sex with Dren. They kind of like hash it out. When they come back to check on Dren, she's sick. She's dying. And they always thought her life cycle would be short. And now she's dying. She dies. They bury her.
Question right here. Plot. I mean, you ever get like into a movie and you're like at the beginning of this movie, there's like, you could stop them from splicing it, but you wouldn't have a movie. Same thing with this ending. They bury her while at the same time burning everything that has to do with her. Why would you not just burn the carcass? Why would you bury something that's
why would you just burn the body too? Yeah.
And so in 20 years, someone digs up a Bigfoot creature and someone's like, oh my God, there was a thing. And regardless, but obviously keep going.
Okay. No, that's a fair point though. I agree. So anyway, they bury her. It's it's quote unquote, it's over. The guy from the lab, who's their like asshole boss, that they've been kind of like. I actually kind of like that this dude almost got kind of the last laugh on them, but they ends up getting murdered. But like, he rolls up and he's like, "You're so fucking cocky. There's human DNA in these samples. Like, I know what you're doing up here. Like, I know this isn't the Fred and Ginger protein. This came from whatever you've got going on. So show it to me." all of a sudden, out of nowhere, swoop, takes off his feet, thrown into a tree, murdered. We see Dren all standing up on top of the barn, naked, but it's not Dren anymore. There's something going on. Dren has morphed into a male, just like the Fred and Ginger one. The female one morphed into a male. That's why they got violent on each other and the slugs killed each other. Dren has morphed, and she's so like. Again, this is 2009. This is 10 years ago. So these things, not that this wasn't around, but it wasn't on the forefront of the news the way it is now. Is this like a trans empowerment movie? Does the trans community support this movie at all in some way? Like anybody? I'm just saying, not because I think it's a great representation, just because it does feature a specifically transitioning character storyline. Like,
I don't know they would, because if we follow the movie logic, I think he would eventually go back to woman and then die again, and then turn back into male. I think it's like a cycle.
Male is like a permanent change for him.
Yeah, I think it's like a cycle.
I think it's a cycle, especially since it's based off of getting fucked.
I'm thinking that.
Okay, all right. Because then he wants to fuck Sarah Polley, so you think he goes both ways, and
that whole scene also.
You think he changed to a male because Adrian Brody came inside of him and like he assimilates that DNA? And
same thing as the legit ending.
No, he doesn't have the nose.
Sarah Polley is clearly growing a baby in her.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say
that's the route I thought the movie was going. Like when you're watching the movie before it tonally shifts, I thought the Mewtwo lady was gonna be impregnated by Adrian Brody, and there's gonna be a whole different thing. But obviously, Hollywood had other ideas, and they wanted a rape scene, in where the alien rapes Redhead, and she ends up pregnant.
This is right up there with the Evil Dead tree rape for me, as far as uncomfortable. No, rape in movies is always uncomfortable.
This was really uncomfortable.
I actually weirdly think that because of the subject matter and stuff, and what the movie, I feel like the movie was maybe trying to say, whether they're successful or not, the rape is weirdly more like
symbolic,
appropriate, like story-wise in this movie. A lot of times a rape is literally just used as a blunt tool to make you like hate a character, and that's kind of a lot of times done in kind of a gross way, or just to like make things seem really bad. And like I've seen, like, anyway, we've all seen some really gross rapes in movies for sure.
To me, this scene played out as
wait, Joe.
Oh no, here we go.
Sorry.
How was it appropriate, Brian? Please
what I mean is, like, story-wise, as far as like what the movie's about and like the weird sexual thing they did with Adrian Brody, I'm just saying, like, it like made sense to have it in this movie, whereas there's some movies where like they just throw a rape in just to make you know that a character's a bad guy. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual story. It's just like, here's a rape to show how bad this character is. In this movie, I feel like they use it. I didn't like it. I'm not saying it was right, but I feel like it went with what they were they were trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this was like literally like it was thematic to what it was doing.
I'm not saying they executed it well or that it was even good. I'm just saying, like, I think they put it in here for the right reason in their mind. Like, they thought it had something to do with what they were trying to say.
When I was watching
that's what I'm saying.
When I was just watching that scene, it literally just because it does happen and it's not as explicit, I was going, "Oh shit, that's what the creature's doing."
Yeah. I have two things on that scene.
I have.
There's the animal instinct aspect of it, which, you know, animals. The whole animal supposed to spread its
rape in the animal world. We all know that.
That's what I'm saying. But the whole thing that ruins the whole thing is that it speaks.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole like inside of you thing. I'm just like,
the whole movie it hadn't talked and now it does.
Yeah, and then it's just like, what do you want?
No, that shouldn't have spoken. I also just think it's very much like this movie also wants to be something like another really disturbing movie like Antichrist, like heavy thematic, all these fucked up things happening.
Tried.
Also, like, teeter the line back to trying to be commercial.
We can just talk about one of my all-time favorite. We can talk about Alien. Alien is all a movie about, like, rape and like the violation, especially like male being like, you know, how like the fear of men being raped and the whole like plunging its tube down your throat and impregnating you with its seed. I mean, obviously that's a horror thing that we can all understand. Like, but
So
I just think this is a movie that had some lofty aspirations but wasn't quite smart enough to get there. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a question though? Did he use the tail or did he have a penis?
I thought about that
He
too.
seemed like he used the tail, right?
Well,
like
I thought he had
I was gonna say,
I thought it was like a
when
shape
he's
of water.
standing up on the
Shape of water dick.
all
I was gonna
naked
say.
up on the barn, I don't think I see a dick though.
here we go.
No.
I froze it on that scene twice, and I zoomed in. On my,
Steve had to
And
jerk
after
off.
he came, then he looked at the screen.
I did on my laptop and I did on my TV, and I zoomed in on
Did you wipe
both.
off your laptop afterwards?
I was gonna bring this up earlier, but we got serious, and as I'm saying, I saw no dick, and I was gonna do the whole like shape of water thing that she does. I'm pretty sure that's what he does at that point. Because his wings are different too.
He's got one in there. It's like his wings that comes out.
Yeah, he's got different wings and shit, but they're not even like wings. They're like frills, like a Dilophosaurus.
It all goes back to my thing about Lenny Kravitz tucking his dick after it popped out. He did the Goodbye Horses, Silence of the Lambs job.
they never explicitly say what animals they use.
Oh no, it
right?
shows it. There's in the very beginning. It's like 7 animals.
It's all the same stuff that's in Fred and Ginger, so you see a bunch of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a duck, a horse, a cow.
So he has a horse penis then.
Yeah, there's like, and there's no
Don't be
predatory
all.
animals in her, so there's not like a cat
No.
or a dog or anything like that. It's all
Yeah,
non-predatory animals, which is
Yeah,
weird.
He actually has
They talk about it.
a duck dick that's all corkscrewed.
Oh, corkscrew.
Well, that's what they say. The whole thing was like, there's no predator. Like, when she like threatens them, like, oh, she okay, Brian,
Mhm.
if you could bring this, it could be serious or not. Harrison, right? He's not really your son. You might have adopted him. He threatens to kill your brother with a knife at Thanksgiving dinner to his throat. Do you put it down by then, or do you just keep
No.
letting it fly?
It's a human.
No. I mean, you gotta as long as you've got a good relationship with the brother, you gotta like your blood relations gotta take.
Yeah.
That's that whole we need to talk about Kevin thing. Like, you have to be
Yeah.
realistic. The kid's fucked up. You gotta swallow your pride and be like get over the fact that you made some mistakes raising him and deal with that shit before it gets out of control.
Yeah, I
you
put
know?
it in a home. I put the person in a home.
And they do
Or
the
like-
whole thing where it's like,
You
why
get
was
them
she
help. You
threatened
get them
by-
the help they need.
Yeah.
You don't lock them in a barn
No,
and
I
then
don't
strap them to
yell
a
at
table
it.
and cut the end of their tail off.
I
well,
don't
they tried to
yell
do
at
like
it.
that. They tried to do like social commentary where it's like, she has no predatory animals. She has us in them. You're like,
human.
Steve.
The ultimate
So,
predator, baby.
I think we should tail back to a ranking.
Oh, thank God! I thought you were gonna say raping. I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus
no, I think we've
Christ.
talked enough rape.
I think
now.
no. I think we all know where we stand on Splice.
I want to say that I'm glad I got to revisit this movie, but then again, Brian, you made me feel like, what do I pick a movie for you guys?
I'm glad
That's
that
good. It's good. I
really
want to make it. It needs to. I want to keep it mixed up. It can't all be
Yeah,
good. We
that's true.
always rely on you, Seth, to pick a nice, fun, throwback movie that give us all a good time. TJ, me, we're gonna challenge you.
Yes.
Challenge you with shit. Go
So,
ahead.
What can you suffer? Now, come on. Joe made us watch the fucking Lake House, man. Now, come on.
I'm gonna start ranking this one. I'm gonna start the rankings. Go ahead, Yusuf. Say it, please.
What? The ranking phase.
Thank you. I need to get a sound cut of that to add in. I'm gonna give this 4.5 spiked tails in the butt. That's what I'm giving this one. 4.5. I don't know if that's the lowest one I've ever given.
Whoa.
Yeah, that reminds me. Was she gonna kill Adrian Brody, or was she gonna stick her tail up his butt? Because remember, like, they're fucking and they're getting all into it.
Yeah,
and
she
then
was gonna kill
her
him.
tail comes up, and just as she's about to that's when they get stopped and they see Sarah Polly. Was she just ready to
I
do
think she
some
was gonna
ass
kill him.
play?
I
Or was
think
she gonna kill
she
it?
did
Kill
some
him.
praying
She was gonna kill
mantis
him?
stuff.
I think it was gonna be like part of her, like TJ, like her
As soon
her
as he
predator
busts.
features, like when fucking I'm gonna kill you
As soon as you bust.
and harvest your babies.
Oh, fair enough.
Which
Little
also
praying
isn't a bad
mantis
way to
in
go.
there.
Not
Yeah.
a bad way to go.
All right. So what was that, CJ? What'd you say? 4.5?
4.5. Yeah.
Yusef, give it up.
Before I leave,
give me that ranking.
Before I give the rankings, the last sentence of this movie is, what's the worst that could happen? And that's the same thing that they say before doing it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And like the worst that happened was rape and murder. So I think she knows what's the worst that could happen.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about the family. We talked about how she gets impregnated by the male version of Dren, but we didn't talk about how she's like carrying the baby and she's gonna sell it basically so it can be experimented on. So it's gonna turn out fucked up. It's definitely gonna go on a rampage, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So
she's going to Anchorage, Alaska.
I'm gonna give it 4 baby penises.
Nice.
Out of 10. And I'm gonna go on record and I'm gonna say that baby penis is just as cute as baby Yoda. Facts.
What the fuck, bro?
Wow.
I don't believe that.
I don't think that's endorsed by the Flyover State of Film.
That's just as cute as the fucking thing that's plaguing my timeline.
You gotta watch The Mandalorian. It's so good.
Oh, it sucks.
Joe, rank this motherfucker.
All right, I'm right with you guys. This is between the 4, 5, 4, 6. I'm right with TJ on this. 4, 6 dead cats.
I'm gonna need someone to go back.
I did enjoy that ending.
I'm pretty sure this movie ranked lower than A Gnome Named Norm, and I love it. Let's do it.
I think A Gnome Named Norm got like a 1.2.
Yeah, it was real low. I definitely
put it this way, it's funny too. I also want to add, this movie also made me realize I don't miss seeing Sarah Polley in things.
Or Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody is okay.
I'm sorry, Sarah Polley.
That's fine.
Fine. Like, she stopped acting one movie after this.
She did Dawn of the Dead, and she did this, and maybe one or two more.
She was more of a director, I think.
Isn't she in The Handmaid's Tale?
No.
She's like an activist now, isn't she?
Yeah, she got married and literally stopped. She's probably an activist, but like
Scientology.
The year she got married was the year she stopped acting.
Make them babies, baby. Make those drugs.
It was it's fine. Like, I generally didn't not like watching it. It's just think it's a really dumb fucking movie that has some big set pieces.
I'll tell you what, my eyes were locked to the screen, even though I was very uncomfortable the entire time.
So Brian,
you guys were all right in the 4, 4.5. I'll go just a touch higher. This is one I wanted to revisit. It was on the list to be a bunker. It could have been a bunker. It's got some lofty aspirations. Like I said, I think there's some stuff in there that's like interesting. There's some nuggets. There's some like good ideas, but there's also a lot of like kind of like knockoff from other better movies, or not even better movies, just different movies. That's kind of like treading on a lot of. So yeah, I could only probably get this up to maybe like a 5 out of 10. You know,
oh, that's fair. All right, so we're running a little long today, so I'm just gonna. I wanted to do I was really inspired by Brian's fun game last week of how we decided.
Terrible trivia.
This isn't as trivia. I'm actually just put a bunch of so next episode will be the holiday Christmas episode. I put in a bunch of random Christmas or holiday related movies into a randomizer. The guys do not know which movies they are, but it's over 10, and I'm just going to hit randomize, and that's what we're going to pick, unless it's fully vetoed. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. We only get one of those.
All right, so randomize.
Veto!
All right, so this one went pretty generic. Number 1 is Black Christmas.
1974.
So I could read the list off if any jump off, but Black Christmas, it became number 1.
Black Christmas is a great pick.
It's a great pick.
I know,
is it too cliche? Is it not weird enough for a fucking stupid weird show? Is that what we're saying?
I fucking love Rare Exports.
I've never seen either. But
Rare Exports I found to be a little overrated personally. Okay. I thought it was okay.
So we're going Black Christmas, the original. So Black Christmas, Jack Frost, A Christmas Horror Story, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Rare Exports, Santa Buddies, The Hebrew Hammer, Friday After Next, The Ice Harvest, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Eyes Wide Shut, and Ernest Saves Christmas.
I am so glad we did not get Eyes Wide Shut.
The only trade-off I'd be willing to make would be the Hebrew Hammer. If everybody decides they want to watch the Hebrew Hammer,
I have that on DVD somewhere.
Yusef is making me uncomfortable right now.
So we're going Black Christmas, but Brian, I do have the Hebrew Hammer on DVD.
Nice. It's one I always wanted to watch. I love Adam Goldberg, and I just never got around to it.
It's silly.
All
right, guys.
Hey, yeah, that's an episode, I think. Doesn't that feel like an episode?
That's an episode,
It's our
babies.
longest episode in a long time.
That's good. We had a lot to say. We had good topics. This was a good one. I like this. I feel it's strong.
It's good. This is good shit. Buy our shirt.
Good hashtag content. Get your fucking Good Point Joe shirt. Come on. Give us money.
Guys.
Get your Good Point Joe shirt.
You could find
Yusef. Tell us where you can find you. I'm pointing at the screen.
Oh, me? whylovemovies.com. I'm writing things that nobody reads.
I read them.
Yeah, somebody's got to read them. Not me, but somebody. Joe, what about you? Where you at?
Find me at Chandango, just talking dumb things on Twitter.
EJ, you got anything you want to plug? Where you at?
You guys are on Flyover State of Film. Stay tuned. We got a bracket coming up, I believe. We're working on maybe doing something else for a movie. Probably not going to happen. We promised you it last year.
Maybe next year.
Get around to it.
Oh, by the way, Black Christmas is free on Vudu and Tubi. I do not know if that's the remake or the original or not.
I think it's the remake. At TJ Deck, guys, on Twitter, give me a follow and subscribe to Flyover State of Film.
Well, the original is also on Daily Motion.
Oh, beautiful.
The fuck is that?
Follow all these motherfuckers on Twitter. Follow me at Hercules. Hey, we're counting down. I'm too cheap to keep the fucking SoundCloud, keep paying for all this storage area. So it's by December 13th, all the old bunkers probably aren't going to be available anymore. So if you like DVD Bunker, you want to hear my thoughts on some old movies, sift through those, maybe download a couple, save them, store them in your back pocket for long drives on the holidays and stuff like that. There's got to be a movie. We did like 60, 70 episodes. There's got to be at least one movie you'd be interested in hearing me talk about.
Gross Point Blank.
It's a fun show.
Shout out
Gross
to
Point
co-host
Blank,
sometimes.
Lord of
Shout
War, Zodiac, Gladiator, Fargo, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Ferris Bueller one is great. I shit all over Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So if you love it, you'll like to hear me shit on it. And
Also,
if you hate it, join me. It's great. So
original Black Christmas on Tubi. If you do want to watch, it's free.
Yeah, if you want to catch up, watch original Black Christmas so you can join with us next time. And we'll have our Christmas episode. And we'll see you guys there. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.